Hi my YouTube family, this is Melody from Home Garden and Fashion. Please welcome to Home Garden and Fashion. First of all, I would like to say thank you so much for subscribing to my channel, and please do go to my Facebook fan page and give me a like there if you haven't been there already. In today's video, I'm going to share how I transform this yellow sari. As you remember from my previous video, first I was putting this trim on the sari, just plain black trim. After that I put this GOTA in the trim, and I did a video on that. And then I said if I do any flower, I'm going to share my ideas. So as you see, I have done flower in it, so I'm going to share my idea. Now these are flower made out of this kind of fabric felt. These flowers are made by felt. You can do it just plain cotton fabric as well. Now after I did it with the felt, I realized this is kind of thick and it made the sari a little bit heavy, so I might just do all over it with the felt, or I might just switch to this fabric. But since I did it with the felt, I like to just keep it the same for the entire sari. But when you do this design in your sari, it will be better if you do just with the fabric flower. That way your sari won't be so heavy. So as you see, what I have done is down here you see the trim, and trim has this GOTA, and you can put the silver color GOTA, which will make it like a mirror. And over here I made the flowers from the felt, and after I stitched the flowers, then I did the decoration. So this is quite a process, but if you are into it, it will take time, but it will make a really beautiful sari. So all you need to do, buy the chiffon fabric and then make it yourself. So every day you can do 3 to 6 flowers. I wouldn't say that this will be done in a day or two, the entire sari. It's just a hobby, so you can take as much time as you want. Initially you have to buy the sari, then you have to put a sari fall, like this one, yellow fall is already there. And then you put the trim, which you can use again just a black fabric to do the trim. And then after that you decorate with a white or the yellow, this GOTA sequins. And then you have to figure out, you do your flower, the kind of flower you want, and then you have to figure out what's the gap you're giving. Over here what I gave gap this side is I did give 20 inches gap because these flowers are big. So 20 inches gap, and from this side 8 inches gap. So now I'm going to show you one of the flowers. First I will show you how to do the flowers, how to cut the flowers. Now as you see, how I cut the flowers is I have this one flower already cut. This came from a hairband, so I took out the sequins and I'm using this as my pattern. So what I did is I took a little piece of felt and then put my pattern into that. I'm going to use the pin, and you pin your pattern down. The reason we're doing this so that the pattern stays in one place while we cut it. So you will be pinning all the leaves. Now if you are very good at keeping in one place and cutting, you don't have to do it. But if this one moves, then your flower won't be a flower. So I'll just put some pin. So we have here double felt, that's why it's going to be a little bit hard to get the pin through it. Now if you're making your own sari, I would advise to do just thin cotton fabric than the felt, because felt was kind of heavy. Now you take your scissor and you can draw it, or if you can just eyeball and cut it. So you cut it and make the flower. So while you do it like this, be very gentle with it and just cut the flower to this, just exactly how the top flower is. That's how you cut the bottom flower. Now don't throw away these little pieces, because you can make little flowers and add it to your sari, and that will be very beautiful. Now if I do add little flowers, I will show you that. So now I'm almost there. So like this, you're going to cut the flower. So we're done. See, we have a flower. Now I'm going to show you how you're going to stitch. So now I'm going to show you how you're going to stitch the flower. So as you see, I have the flower and I already made a mark on the sari where I'm going to stitch the flower. So as I mentioned to you about the measurements, I gave this side 20 inches and this side 8 inches. So I'm going to make this bottom flower and show you. So first you stitch the flower on top of the mark where you made the mark. Just a little stitch the center. So once you have given couple of stitches, now you're going to put your frame. So I gave couple of stitches. Now I'm going to put my frame. So make sure your frame is tight. So keep it at the bottom kind of and in the center, because then it will be easy to do it. And tighten your frame as much as possible. Now that my frame is tight and the flowers almost at the bottom of the frame, since this is chiffon, it might feel like it's getting loose once in a while. So now you're going to stitch the flower in it. So remember we had the center stitch little bit already. Now I'm going to do the sides. So just give a basic stitch, nothing special. So I'm going to give a little one on top and big one at the bottom. And don't worry too much about it because we're going to cover the stitches with this glitter dimensional fabric paint. So as like this, you're going to go around couple of times to make sure that your flower is kind of stable. So your stitches, you see in the back you can see it, in the top you're not going to be able to see much because top I keep very little. So like this you're going to stitch all of these 5 petals. And from this one you can come back to this or go to this one and come back, either way. So you got the idea, you have to stitch this entire flower to this one. Now I'm going to finish this one and then show you the decoration. Now at times it might feel like it's getting loose, so you have to tighten it. And then you have to put it in the center too. So always go back to the center where you started from and then go to the second one. So now I'm going to go this one and then come back to this one, like that. So you just sort of like find your own rhythm, how you want to do it. But either way, you need to make sure from the back that all the flowers are stitched, all the petals. And then after that you can give a second time. I don't know about this one machine stitching, you may try it, but I don't know. I would just stick to hand stitching. So I'm trying to give the small stitches on the top, the big one can go in the bottom. So now I go back to the center again. I'm going to go to this one. This one is done. After I do this one, come back to this one. So don't pull it too much, then your flower will shrink. Now we're gonna go to this one. Just basic simple running stitches I'm giving. Now I'm gonna stitch all the way and go straight 2. Now one day I'm going to be finishing this with doing all the flowers, then I'll show you the final product. Right now still I have to do, I don't know how many flowers, probably 12 flowers or more. Yeah, probably I think about 15 or 18 flowers I have to do it. And then I might put a little design in the side on the pallu section. So as you see from the bottom, all the flowers petals are done. Now I'm just going to finish one more round, so I won't bore you with that. I'll just do myself one more round and then I'll show you the decoration, because it's good to give 2 rounds, that way you know it's solid. So I'm going to be doing the decoration on it since I already stitched it, and when you do the decoration it should be on the ground, on the floor, and you have to have something underneath these two. So as you see, I have this pink fabric underneath so that the sari does not get a stick. Now I'm going to put something in the center. The center I'm going to put this big GOTA or sequins. So when you do the decoration, make sure you can leave it the way, after you finish, leave it the way it is for about 5-6 hours. I found that doing on the felt is actually taking about 6 hours to dry. Doing on the fabric it takes 4 hours to dry. So now we're pushing, gently press it so you give a nice trim all around. So now your GOTA or sequins won't come out. Now I'm going to give a nice trim to separate the flowers. So just follow the edges. Now as I told you, when it's wet it doesn't look good. When it's dry it looks good. And I already show you how it looks as a dry. So right now this is wet. Now we need to leave it, after we decorate we're going to have to leave it for 6 hours untouched for it to dry. And wherever you're doing this, you should be doing on the floor, and you should leave it to dry without disturbing it. So you put a trim on the side. Now we're going to put 3 lines, and each line will have a sequence. You can do your own design, but this is the one I am giving in this one. So my top one is a little bit long line, center one is a little bit long line, and then 2 in the side little bit short line. So like this, you can choose whatever you want to put design, and you can also choose whatever you want to put, like whether sequins or beads. I use a small sequins. So I'm using this tiny little sequins. Now when you put the sequins, make sure you press it down a little bit, so that way they are not going to come out. Now for this one, I would not wash it in washer and dryer. I will just wash it and hang it dry because it has a lot of work. And sarees like this, when you decorate this kind of saree, you're not going to be wearing it, just for your regular use. This is something you want to use it for a special occasion. So this is not something you will be washing on a regular basis either. So this was the flower, and I have something at the bottom so it does not stick to each other. Here's the flower, and it's gonna dry for 6 hours, and then you can see it looks exactly the way these looks, shiny and golden. So don't forget to like, subscribe, comment and share the video, and I will be seeing you with many more videos. And I'm going to finish this one. It might take few days, and then I'll share it with you how it looked like, and I might do a little bit of work on the pallu. I'm going to share that with you too. Thank you. Have a great day. Bye bye.